Today we write code and I'm going to honest with you, this code is going to be bad on purpose because I want you to feel the pain of bad architecture, the bad code. So when we implement the good architecture, you can really appreciate that. So we start with bad code. This is our folder structure. You can find the HTML, CSS, the UI for DatePicker in this folder. And if we open it in the browser, this is how it looks. It looks nice, but it does nothing. We can click on any date or button. It does not work. By end of this episode, we will have a fully working DatePicker. For that, let's go to the V0 folder. Inside it, we have this HTML file. Let's create a new file, datepicker.js. So now inside it, first we start with some variables. We need some variables to store some values. So we will need current month, and we will initialize it with new date dot get month. Then we'll need a variable to store current year, get full year. Then we need one more variable, selected date. By default it's null because there is no date selected. Next we need is open flag. By default it is false. So this current month, this is the month that we view on the date picker. This December is the current month value. This 2025 is the current year. And right now it is just the UI. So the selected date is null and is open is false. So when we click, it will change true to false, false to true. And if we open this HTML in our page, this is how it looks. Nothing works and no date picker. Now we need few more variables to store the reference of DOM elements, and those elements are input element, picker element, days, container, and title element. This input element, this is this input element, the DOM element. The picker element, this is our date picker element. Days container, if we go back to the basic HTML, all these days are inside a container. We are calling it days container. And this title element, this is our title element which displays month and year. Now let's go and add few event listeners. So first we will need document.eventListener. We need a event listener on DOM. So once the DOM content is loaded, we will have a callback. This is one function. Let me write a few functions and then we'll start writing body of each function. The second function we will need setup event listeners. In this we will write all the function that can handle to select date or open or close date picker. All those functions we will write in this function. Next we need is open function, and this will handle open of the date picker. So when we click it, we will call this function to open the date picker. We need one more which is close picker. This will close the date picker. Next we need a function to select date. This will handle the date selection. And we need one more, render calendar, and this will render our calendar. Now let's go back to the first DOM event listener. So once we have our DOM loaded, we need to initialize all the variables, which we have input element. We can select the document.querySelector and we add the class date input. Then we have picker element, document dot query selector, and it has this class black and white DatePicker. Next we have days container, and we can select using query selector, the class name black and white DatePicker days, and the last we have title element, and for that we can use document dot query selector, and the class we will use black and white DatePicker title. Now we have reference to all four elements. Once we initialize all four elements, we will call this function to set up event listener, so we can handle events on all these and these buttons when we click on previous month or next year. So for that we will call setup event listener, and finally we will call render calendar to render the calendar. Now let's go to the render calendar function. Inside it, first event listener we need for input element. So when we click on this input, we need to open the DatePicker. So for that we need a event listener. So input element dot event listener, and we click on it, we will have a callback, and it will do if DatePicker is open, it will close, else it will open the DatePicker. So we'll check if is open, then we will say close picker. If it is not open, then we will call open picker. Not is open, we need open picker function. So open picker. So this is a event listener for input element. Next we need event listener for navigation buttons. So we have previous month, previous year, next month, next year. These are our navigation button. So let's add event listener for them. Document dot query selector, first we need to select them. We add black and white DatePicker, nav button, previous year, and then we add event listener, then we add a callback. This is our event listener for previous year. Now we can just copy and paste it 4 times because we have 4 navigation button. So previous year, then we have this previous month. So we say previous month, then we have next month, and the 4th navigation button is next year. Now let's write body of each event listener. So first previous year, so when we click on the previous year button, it will reduce the current year value by 1. So we can go to the previous year. So current year -1, and we will call render calendar to render new calendar based on new value, because year has changed, so calendar will change. Next we need previous month event listener body. So when we click on the previous month, so let's say the month is January, which is 0, and we click on previous month, it will become -1, but there is no -1 month, so it will go to the previous year's last month, December, which is 11. So we can add it like this. So when we click on previous month, we will reduce it by 1, and then we will check if current month is less than 0. We will make it current month equals to 11, and we will reduce current year by 1 because we now in a previous year. Then we will call render calendar to render the new calendar based on these new values. Next we have next month. So for next month, first we will increment month by 1, and then we will check if current month is greater than 11. It means we are in new year. So we will say current month equals to 0 and current year equals to ++. Then we will call render calendar. It will render a new calendar. And the last navigation button we have here is next year. So it's current year ++ and then render calendar. So all these navigation buttons are covered. Now we need to cover the days container. So we have all these days for a month, If we click on any date, we should be able to select that date. So for that, let's go to the days container dot add event listener, and when we click on it, we'll take the callback with the event. And now in here we will say day element. We'll use event dot target dot closest. I'll explain why we are using the closest. So we had a class here, black and white, date picker, day. Now let's check. If we inspect this day, you will see it has a class black and white date picker day. So when we use the closest method, it will go and try to find closest element which has this class, and it starts from itself. So when we click on here, this is our target. It will go and check if it has a class or not. If it has a class, it will give us that element. So we will get the day element, and we can add here check. If we don't find the day element, then we can return from it because there is nothing to select. But if we find it, we can read the value from it. We'll say parse int day element dot text content, because when we read the value from the DOM element, it's not a number, it's a text, and we will need it as a number for the calculation. So we'll convert into a number, and then we will call select date, because when we click on the date, we want to select. So we'll pass data to this method. So we'll say current year, current month, and day. So this is our event listener for days container. Now let's go to the open picker function. In here, when we click on the DOM element, the input element, it will open the date picker. So for that, first we set is open to true, because the date picker has opened, and we say picker element dot style dot display equals to block. Next we have the close picker, so it will set is open to false, because we need to close the date picker. So we update the value, and then we say picker element dot style dot display none. Next we have select date method. So when we click on a date, we should have that date selected. So for that, let's come in here. It expects 3 parameters: year, month, and day. So based on these values, we will get selected date. For that, we will use date object. We'll pass it year, month, and day, and it will give us date. So when we select a date, we will get the date. Now we need to display this date on the input element. So whatever date we select, we will display it here. For that, we need month name. Let me bring the month name array. So this is our month name array, the short name of the month. And once we have the date selected, we will say input element dot value equals to months, and we'll get the month name using the month value, and then we'll add the day, and the last we'll add year. So we have month, day, and year. Then we will call render calendar to update the calendar and display the selected date, and then we will close it. This date is not a new, we already defined it here. So this is the variable that we defined here. Now let's go to the render calendar. This function will calculate the days and render the UI for DatePicker. For that, we will need month names, because when we click on these months, the month change, previous month, next year, the month will change. For that, we need to grab value of the month. So for that, I will bring an array of month name. This time I will bring full month names. And when we render it, first thing we will update this value, the title value, will say title element dot text content, and it will be month names, and we'll get it using the current month, and then we'll display current year. So when we click on the any button, any navigation, first we will clear all the dates, and then we'll recalculate and redisplay new dates for a particular month. So for that, first let's say days container dot inner HTML, we set it to empty string, so there is no HTML inside it. Then we need to do some calculation. So first I will write some variables and some calculation, then I will explain it. So first we will need first day, new date, current year, current month, and one will get the day here, and we'll define total days, current year, current month plus 1, and 0 will get the date. Then we need previous month days, and for that we can say new date, current year, current month, 0, and we'll get the date. Okay, so first we have first day. This first day is first day of the month. So if we check here, this December month, it starts from Monday, and this Monday is a 1, so the weekday have value 0 to 6. When we call this get day method, we get this value 0 to 6. So for the Monday we will get 1, for the Thursday we will get 4, Friday 5, and Saturday 6. So using this get day we can get the day of a month. Total days, we get how many days we have in the current month, and previous days for the previous month we'll get previous month days. For this the calculation is a little bit different. To get the total days of a current month, we pass current month plus 1, so it will go to the, let's say current month is December, plus 1 will go to the January, and we are asking for 0 date, but there is no 0 date in a month, so it will go back to the previous month, which is December, and it will get the last date of that month. Same for the previous month, we pass the current month 0, there is no 0 date in current month, so it will go to the previous month and grab the last date, which is for the November is 30. So these three variables we have defined. We need few more, so let's define those. We'll get today, new date, and we need today month. First we need date, so today date, today dot get date. Then we need today month, today dot get month. Then we need today year, and we'll get it using today dot get full year. So these 4 variables are very simple. Now let's calculate the previous month days. So I will write the logic here, then I will explain it. So for previous month, let's add a comment. Previous month days. So for loop, let I equals to first day minus 1, I greater than equals to 0, I minus minus, and inside it we will create day element using document dot create element. We will create a div, then we say day element dot class name. We will give it a class name black and white, DatePicker, it is a day, and we'll add one more class black and white, DatePicker day, it is a previous month, so we'll add a class other month to display it as a grayed out value. So if we check the UI, the previous month days are not the highlighted in the black, they are in a gray color. So we say this class is other month. And we have the day element dot text contain, and we set the value previous month days minus I. And we say days container dot append child, and we'll say day element. So now let me explain it. So the for loop start from the I equals to first day minus 1. So for this let me add 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these are the weekdays. Weekday start from Sunday, goes to the till Saturday. So Sunday is 0, Saturday is 6. So let's say this December is starting from Monday, which is 1. Let's take a different example. So let's say December starts from Thursday, which is 4. Now when we say 4 minus 1, which becomes 3. So it will start from here 3, 2, 1, 0. So we need previous 4 days from previous month. So we start from here. It will start from the 3, then 2, then 1 and go, and it will do the same thing. So previous month days is 30, then it will remove the first 3 value, then 2, then 1 and 0. So we'll get last 4 days of previous month. So this is the calculation for previous month. Now we can do calculation for current month. For that, it's simple. So we say days start from 1, day will go to less than equals to total days, and then day plus plus. So current month calculation is simple. Inside here we will define again the day element, document dot create element, we'll create a div, and we say day element dot class name, we'll add a class name black and white, DatePicker day class. Now we need to check if this particular date is a today or not. If it is today, we need to highlight it. So for that, let's add a check. If day equals to today date and current month equals to today month and current year equals to today year. So if this condition is true, we'll add one more class. So day element dot class list dot add, and we'll add one more class black and white, DatePicker day, it is today. Then we need one more class. So when we select a date, we need to highlight that selected date. For that we need one more check. So let's add it here. We say if selected date is there and not the select date, selected date, and we have day equals to selected date dot get date and current month equals to selected date dot get month, and we have current year equals to selected date dot get full year. So if this condition is true, we'll add one more class. We'll say day element dot class list dot add, and we add one more class black and white, DatePicker day, and this day is selected. So calculation is done. Now we will update the day element content. Inside here, I just put it day element dot text contain equals to day. Then we'll say day container dot append child, and we'll append the day element. So our current month calculation is done. Now we need to calculate next month days. For that we will need few more variables. So we'll define it here, total cells, equals to 42. Current cells equals to first day plus total days. Then we need next days equals to total cells minus current cells. So why 42? Because we have these 7 columns and 6 rows, so total 42 cells, and we need to check how many days how many cells we have already filled. So first day plus total days, it gives us how many days we have filled for previous month and current month, and then we can get the remaining days for the next month. So now we say let day equals start with 1, and day is less than equals to next days, and day plus plus. Then again for this one we need to define the create day element. Say document dot create element, the div. Then we say day element dot class list, the class name equals to black and white, date picker day. We need one more class, black and white, date picker day. This is other month, so we add other month class. And then we update day element dot text content equals to day, and we can say day container dot append child, and we append the day element. Okay, now I think our date picker is almost done. Let's test it. So if we open this HTML, we click here, the date picker opens, we click on next month, it changes, next year, previous year, previous year, previous month. We select a date, we can select the date, we click here, it's working. Go to the current month, it's there. I think there is one thing, I think for December, okay, this is 2024, so December 2025, it is highlighting the today's date, and our date picker is working fine. Now we need few more the event handlers for today and the clear button, and when we click outside the date picker, we should be able to close this. Right now it is not closing, and if we press the escape key, this should close. So let's add all those event listeners now. So for that, let's go back to our setup event listener, and this event listener we can add for today button. So we'll say document dot add event listener. First we need to select it, so query selector, and we'll select it with black and white, date picker today button. Then we add event listener, click event listener, and the callback function. We need to copy it one more time because we need it for the clear button. So we change the class to clear button. Now let's add the body for the today's button. So first we say today equals to new date. We get current month equals to today dot get month, and current year equals to today dot get full year. Then we call select date function, and we will pass it today dot get month. We pass it today dot get full year. I think the select date takes full year first, and then it takes the month. So let's change it, get full year, then we pass the month, and then we pass the date. So today dot get date, and then we call render calendar. So today is done. Let's move to the clear button. So for clear button we say selected date equals to null because we are clearing the date. So selected date is null, and we set input element dot value equals to empty string, and then we call render calendar. Now let's add two more. So when we click outside date picker, it should close, and escape key, it should close the date picker. So we say document dot add event listener, click event, takes the callbacks with the event, and then we check if picker element dot contains e dot target, and if input element dot contains e dot target. So condition is like this: when we click on the DOM, the picker element and input element should not contain the target element. If that is the case, we'll say close picker. We'll call this function. And we need one more for escape key. So we say document dot add event listener. When we say key down, we'll check the callback and we'll add a condition e dot key equals to escape key. Then we will call the close picker method, the function. So now we have all this functionality. Let's test it. So if I open the date picker, okay, something is wrong here. Let's see what is wrong. If we open it, we see document.query selector add is not a function, line number 69. Date picker today button. So I think it could not find this today button. Let's see what is the class name. Date picker today button. It looks fine. Okay, let's just copy this class and we update it here. I think still there is a sieve. Query selector. Oh, this should be the add event listener, not the add. This is same here, add event listener. Now it should work. So if we check, open the date picker, yeah, it's working. We can select a date, it closed. Now if I don't select any date and click outside, it also get closed. And if I open it again, press escape key, it get closed. So our date picker is working. Now let's say we want to add few other features. Like if I click on other month date, I should not be able to select it. Right now I can select it, but if our client say we need to add this functionality, so let's add that. So if for that we go to the days container here, and here we add a check that if day element dot class list dot contains, if it contains black and white date picker day other month, then we should not be able to select the date. So we just return from here. Now let's test this. Open the date picker, click on this 30. See, it is not working now. If I click on 1, we can select the date, but previous month and next month date are not selectable. We cannot select it. So if we have to add the feature, we go back to the code and we add that feature there, and it is working fine. So we have tested our date picker, it works. We have a functional date picker, it's working just fine. So we are done, right? Not quite. This code works, but it's not good. In next episode, we are going to review this code and we are going to find a lot of problems. That's where the real learning begins. See you in episode 3.